disease, which usually the way to address it is prolonged. All right, so that's number one. We can talk about it. We have Q&A at the end of the session. The second thing is we'll have on Facebook a little giveaway. So I think I'll tell you more about it later, but there are some prizes to give away for, I suppose, going to Facebook and answering a simple question. Okay. Okay, so don't have to really take notes. The question may or may not be related to the talk. Okay. Right, for those who don't really know me or hearing me for the first time, I'm currently the president of the Society for Nutrition, Health and Fitness. The society really aims to look at the general wellness aspects of health. Right, so we don't really do medical, but of course we have a lot of people who are capable and fully aware of everything from cancer, Parkinson's, very knowledgeable in diabetes and these respects, high blood pressure and so on. So apart from this society, which I serve as president, I'm actually part of an internationally funded research consortium. So what we do is we create technologies. Don't have to be very new, but usually don't really exist at the moment. So we create new technologies that actually help to advance affordable health, right? So healthcare costs always goes up, right? Because of insurance, because of many reasons, costs just go up. So in the prediction of more health concerns, COVID was one that really hit us globally, but there'll be more. And you find that how do we then look at health from a different perspective, even for things like COVID, right? So now I was a professor at NTU. I was a tenured professor. And during that time, I was the director of the Biomedical and Pharmaceutical Research Cluster that houses all research in biomedical and medical drugs, right? So everything from robotics to imaging technologies to rapid detection. My own area was a lot on the DNA and brain side of it, right? And peptide. And I think I did a lot on viruses and bacteria as what we call etiological agents, disease-causing agents. So those were my research. And so during that time, I worked very closely with the doctors as surgeons, particularly Singapore General Hospital, Tan Tock Seng, which had the sperm bank. so I was involved in all these libido things as well. And then overseas, there's MGH, Massachusetts General Hospital, next to MIT. And then, of course, Duke University Hospital, where I was from. And I think even Harvard Medical School, because I dealt very closely. I had a very interesting project which looked at stem cells in the brain and how do you detect what we call cancer stem cells early on. Okay, right. So that was one of the interesting projects as well. Okay, so apart from that, just to point out, I kind of work with Oak Ridge National Lab, which is belongs to the US Department of Energy. So you can then use energy to do different things, of course, to create weapons, but energy to also heal the body. Okay, so that's why sometimes you see people going to the sun, right? If the baby is born and they are toxic, the bilirubin count is high, they bring it to the sun, and the sun rays actually naturally can cure the baby. So in that interesting way, energy can be used to for health purposes as well. Okay, so then Asa Brenner, Sydney Brenner is a Nobel laureate and for all the DNA stuff. So molecular medicine relates to medicine relating to DNA. So at that time, we're talking 20 odd years ago or 20 years ago, the primary interest was looking at genetic medicines, what we call genetic medicines, and of course, what we call personalized medicine. So at that time, there was a belief that looking at your DNA, we can then give you a personalized medicine. Okay, I kind of moved away. I mean, today I move away from that because if I want to look at the masses and I want to make things affordable, it's hard to try to over individualize, right? Because there's no mass, right? So if you can make things simple enough where the common man can react to a simple situation like a cough, right? You stick a sticker, then you find that would be easy to do. Okay, so today that's what I intend to do, just to look at things simply. So don't worry, I won't be too scientific. Unlike other times, this will be a lot simpler. Our usual disclaimer, there's no claims of treating, curing, or healing being represented. Okay, so always check with a medical professional if you need to, right? You're not confident what to do, go check with a medical professional. Okay. Okay, so as I started, the exam season is in vogue, right? So sometimes the kids are stressed, sometimes the parents are more stressed. Whatever it is, there are a lot more people being anxious. I remember my time when, as a kid, or later on as a young adult in university, taking exams. Contrary to belief, I actually don't like taking exams, right? I like playing. I like playing sports. I like doing stuff, but I don't like exams. So even though I was not too bad at exams, I kind of feared exams. So there was anxiety, there was some stress involved. And that's despite the fact I actually take exams very, very well, in that I don't really care about the outcome. Okay, so I just do my part, and whatever happens, happens. So, right? So being this kind of, having this kind of mentality where I'm not overly serious about doing well, what happens is I still felt anxious and I still felt stressed. So perhaps all the more if there are certain targets to be met. I was very fortunate. I had a father who always told me, if you primary one, you can go to primary two. Wow, very good. Okay, primary two can go to primary three, already very good. Don't need to get A, right? So as long as I progress, I could go to where I wanted to go. He was okay. So he didn't really care about the results either. Okay, so in a interesting way, it helped me perhaps develop in terms of creativity. I had more time to think and dabble with the weird stuff that are non-examinable. So maybe today that's why I'm a scientist, right? I like research and I really love it. Huh? Okay, so moving on from exams, university time exams were, of course, there were more books, books were thicker, but same thing, right? There was stress and anxiety. So what is the purpose of this talk? What is the aim of this talk? The talk really is to teach us a few little tricks so that we can be first responders, right? Like little cuts. Most of the time we don't go to doctors when your little son comes back with a small cut, right? We just put we maybe wash the thing, wash the wound, calm him down, pamper him a bit, maybe put some acriflavin, right? And then after that, put some bandage, right? Or elastoplast. So these are things where the common man, the you and me, the housewife, the maid actually can execute. So why is this important? Because now you are able to be the first responder. Imagine if your elderly parent is getting a heart attack. Even if you call the ambulance, they will take half an hour to come, right? They need time to come. They need time to take the lift, come up to your house. They need take time to assemble. So in short, sometimes if you are knowledgeable or if it's simple enough, you can be the first responder, right? So this becomes important. So then, of course, if the condition persists, right, the wound is there, it's not coming down, or it's getting worse, then maybe then this is a time you should go and check with a doctor. But if tomorrow is okay, the bruise no more hurts, we can actually be the first responder. Okay. So let's start with what are the common ailments of at home. So I went to check, like, the most common ailments. So everybody differs in their concept of most common ailments, but whether young or old. But I think I was trying to focus a little bit more on the young, the kids that are schooling, going for exams. But of course, it's applicable to older folk like myself as well. Okay, so usually we have things like the common cold. Now we had the COVID kind of symptoms, but usually it was a common cold, the fever, the runny nose, right? And so actually quite simplistic. Then there's bronchitis. Sometimes we have breathing issues, don't breathe so well, affects our sleep. Then the stomach problems, gastroenteritis, digestive system, and of course, itchiness, right? Sometimes the kids have rashes, skin problems, they are itchy, and it irritates them, so they can't study. Sometimes it's just plain stress. Stomach problems include the constipation, then there are the usual pain, and then maybe sleep problems, and sometimes a combination of these things. So how can we deal with them simply, effectively, fast, and in the end, we don't have to go to the hospital to see the doctor. Okay. Okay, so with that, let's start. I think I only have about just a handful. So today won't be too long. So let's start with the common cold and flu. Let's look at some of the effective general wellness strategies. So, is there a difference between cold and the flu, or what we call influenza, the proper term? So I found this little pictorial that kind of summarize it. So on the left is the circle for cold, on the right, influenza, and in the middle, this cross section. So both are caused by viruses. And usually you have coughing, sore throat, sometimes stuffy nose. And what it is really a respiratory infection, much like COVID, right? So one day you find that COVID will simply be the mild form of the common flu. So maybe not even a big deal. Okay, so you find a cold, the differentiation is the cold, the symptoms are milder. Okay, so everything is milder, which means also you can recover faster. Influenza, maybe the symptoms are more severe and it comes with some aches and it can be sudden as well. So usually what would I do if I get it? Now, last time, of course, if you don't know anything, some people go to a doctor. But in the US, and that's why I like the US, Europe, in fact, many other countries except Singapore, if your kid has a flu, usually we just deal with it at home. Okay, so why? Because influenza is a viral infection, and basically, there are things that the doctor cannot do. So what we do is, in general wellness, just drink more water, sleep more, rest more, and sometimes, right, because energy level is low, we give him some honey lemon, a little bit of sugar, honey lemon to soothe the throat, and the recovery rate 5 to 7 days. Okay, now on top of that, sometimes what I keep at home is this African sea coconut. I'm not sure if it's sold in the US. I know there's some people from the West listening in, but we have this herbal medicine. What it really is a demulcent, right? So it kind of brings all the junk together and then you cough it out and then, it's done. So it's made of natural licorice. So it's not a medicine. So it's quite useful that in Singapore we can buy anywhere from on the shelves. This is my favorite. This is over the counter. So usually you go to what we have, Watsons or Guardian. I can't remember the other shops, but this is my favorite, lemon sip. Why? Because it's a nice lemony drink. So I make it hot. So I try to drink it as hot as possible, and it comes in powder form, in sachet powder form. You add hot water, and that's all. So pretty straightforward. So it deals with fever, headaches, body aches, blocked nose, and sore throat. And somehow I find it just resolves the runny nose really fast, which is sometimes the most irritating part of a flu. Now, if we look at its contents, right? The primary ingredients, of course, there are more ingredients, but the primary ingredients are like phenylephrine and hydrochloride. So what is this? This is just a salt, right? So what do salts do? They actually they're kind of antibacterial, antiviral, right? So it's pretty safe, and it's quite commonly used. And then paracetamol, we all know are just what we call the acetaminophen. Basically, this is to manage what we call moderate pain. Okay, so fever, mild, moderate pain, no problem. Paracetamol will do, and usually like Panadol, that's just 500 milligrams, right? 2 pills. Okay, don't take more. Okay, so it's pretty simplistic, right? So salts, decongestion, right? So increases blood pressure. Because blood pressure is low, increases blood pressure. So as a decongestion, it basically relieves your nasal congestion due to the cold. Of course, Panadol has its own version by GlaxoSmithKline, and same thing, right? So they have both Lemsip Panadol. They have the maximum. So what maximum? Maybe the paracetamol level is doubled to 1,000 mg, and so on. Okay, so you see, each powder sachet contains paracetamol, and then phenylephrine, hydrochloride. So it's a hydrochloride salt, as I said, right? So, and it comes as a nice drink. This is another of my favorite, Decogen, but not the Forte version. Forte means fortified, but Decogen, why I used to like it is it helps me sleep well, and it has this fantastic ability to remove the cold, as I said, which I suppose irritates me the most, more than a fever. So so you see the same thing, right? Propanolamine, hydrochloride. So it's another salt, acid salt. Then paracetamol, all right? In this case, 500 milligram, but they call it Forte. But this has the chlorophylamine maleate. What is that? It's basically a antihistamine. So they are targeting runny nose from different perspectives. One may be a decongestion, one an antihistamine, which deals with allergens. US, they use more of the, I mean, the West, where they, during summer, they have all these pollen going around, right? They even land on your car windscreen. So it's quite common that summertime, a lot of the people from the West take the antihistamines. For us, we don't have such a problem, but the antihistamine, so this Decogen adds the antihistamine. Now, of course, they have the non-drowsy kind, which I don't like. I like the sleepy kind, then I get knocked out. Then I get my sleep at the same time, right? So in short, getting sick, sometimes, of course, you can get infected from someone else, but getting sick to me is my body's way of saying, maybe it's time to just take a break, rest a little bit, okay? So that's what I do. I kind of take it pretty easy. And after that, you wait 5 to 7 days, and the flu is over. Okay, how come we know that? Because it's viral, right? There's really not much cure for viruses, right? So that's why what happens is you just have to wait reduce the symptom like pain, the suffering, and then after that wait, and then your body will manage it. Your body will self-cure. So it's about 5 to 7 day wait. Okay, what if you go to the doctor? Okay, what will he give you if you have a flu? He gives you, yeah, feel free to type in. I'm sure everyone, you can go to the chat group and just, what will the doctor do if you got a flu and you go to the GP? Okay, you want to type? Anyone had flu recently? Okay, the doctor gives you, okay lah, PCR test is a COVID thing, but generally he give you cough mixture, Panadol, even vitamin C you buy yourself. Importantly is what you cannot get is the antibiotics and the MC. Shirley say the 5 days MC. Okay, usually it's only 1 day, but because of COVID, we give 5 days. So we have people liking to go want to get a little bit, right? So Doug is right. Basically, they give you Panadol, cough mixture, and Panadol, cough mixture, and at best antibiotics. Even if you don't need it, usually in Singapore they push it to you. Why? Because they earn the most through antibiotics. All right. So antibiotics and importantly the medical certificate. Right. So if you're a businessman, medical certificate don't really make sense, right? Okay. So okay. Now I dealt a lot with antibiotics and why they are not great. They are okay for short-term use, right? But longer term means more than 4 days, 5 days, a week. Why? Because it takes only for strep virus, it takes only like 4 days, 5 days to mutate. Right? And once it mutate, we call it a resistant form. So we have like, let's say if it's, last time we used to use the drug methicillin. So it's methicillin resistant streptococcus, and right. So in other words, if you use a drug, it becomes more resistant. So you use a stronger antibiotics. And if you prolong the use or you overdo it, what happens is you can see on the side, it causes many other problems, right? One, definitely weaken your immune system. Antibiotics doesn't kill viruses, they only kill bacteria. So imagine if your stomach is full of healthy bacteria, like we say probiotics. What happens is it cannot be specific. So it kills all the good bacteria, including our normal flora. See, our skin has bacteria, right? So you saw those Dettol, the Dettol advertisement, right, where they look at the microscope and they see bacteria crawling, and that's bad. Better wash your hand with antiseptic. That's wrong. So that's actually wrong. If you're a microbiologist like me, actually you want the normal flora to be there because they protect against the antigens, the disease-causing agents. So when the bad bacteria fall on your skin, you have so much good bacteria that they eat up all the food, the nutrients, so the bad bacteria cannot survive. That's how the body works. Now imagine if you keep taking antibiotics, your stomach starts to change in terms of the bacterial profile, right? And we forgot the stomach is now considered the second brain, right? As almost as important as the brain, in that it controls a lot of the hormones. So after that, hormone goes out of whack, imbalance, and then you find for no reason you feel weird, headache all the time, right? So it has its own negative. So if you take antibiotics, I'm not saying antibiotics is bad. I'm saying if you take it, if you have to take it for a short time. If you don't have to take it, you don't have to just drink more water. Like I say, if you need to take some Lemsip drink, some honey lemon, and sleep a lot, and you find 5 days you'll be back to normal. Okay, now what if it's exam time? I don't have 5 days. Dr. Daniel, I don't have 5 days. My exam's in 3 days, or even if my exam's in 5 days' time, I need the 5 days to study. I need to recover ASAP as soon as possible. What can you do? So
you want is it? Huh? No lah, I want to put this.
sorry, Maureen, can we mute you? Yeah, thank you. Okay, so basically what a lot of people have done is we start by understanding how the body works. Now, when you have a flu, two things happen. One is your immune system is down. You've just been attacked, so your immune system is fighting that virus, right? Then the second thing is, and your immune system generally will win unless you have poor immune system, right? So if you are generally young and generally healthy, you find that most of the time the immune system will win a flu. So not a problem. We're not worried about flu, right? Just as we won't be worried about COVID at some point in time. So what happens is, if you boost your immune system, that's all you need. So what does the body's natural immune system, the master antioxidant, the master immunity is called the peptide glutathione. Okay, I'll talk about that in a short while. And the other thing is, when you have a flu, definitely your body is in inflammation mode. So you have inflammation, you have low immunity, right? Now, if you reduce the inflammation and increase the immunity, then you sort it out in 2 days, at most 3 days. Okay, or even the first day you feel much better, so you can at least maybe study start preparing somewhat for the exam. Okay, so how do we do it naturally, non-invasively, using non-drugs? Very simple. We have something called a patch. In this case called Aeon. It was produced in 2011, so already about 10 years old. What it does is it reduces stress by reducing the C-reactive protein. Our whole body works by protein folding, unfolding, signaling, and all that. Okay, so by reducing this bad C-reactive protein, we reduce stress, and in so doing, reduce inflammation. By the way, cancer, diabetes, these are all inflammatory diseases. Even obesity, right, being fat, is an inflammation disease. So reducing the inflammation, you have a higher chance of preventing some of these disease, or reducing the risk of getting cancer, diabetes, and even becoming fat. Okay, so we're talking excess fat, not good fat. You need fat just to balance that point of view. So basically, using one sticker, we just paste it here. Like for example, this is a nice point behind the neck. That's all. It will almost immediately start working to reduce inflammation around the body, and perhaps in a couple of minutes or 10 minutes or half an hour or an hour later, you start to feel it. Okay, so it starts working immediately, but you may feel it about a few minutes later, sometimes even in less than that. Okay, and the second one is a glutathione, which is your own body's natural master antioxidant. The liver is the organ that produces glutathione. So you find that by sticking just a simple sticker, for example, this first picture below the belly button, you are able to boost the master antioxidant by up to 300% the very next day. So it's really fast. So what glutathione does, it helps you detox, boost the immune system, in this case by 300%, push out the heavy metals and all that, so that you can recover faster, right? So your immune system can go fight that flu virus faster. Okay, so people who are known to be, when they fall sick, like me, I'm one of those. If I get a flu, I get it for 1 week, very, very long. Okay, sometimes even longer. But if I patch this, usually the second day I'm good. The third day at most, and I'm back to normal, right? And even first day when I patch it, you find actually I don't feel as bad. The fever subsides and all that. So Aeon and glutathione, that's all you need. Okay, now a little bit about the product. It's all natural, it's non-invasive, no drugs, no herbs, so no menthol, nothing goes into the bloodstream. So in short, there are no negative side effects. Easy to use in that you're just sticking the sticker, right? Your kid doesn't like it, just take it off. So how it works is it's actually activated by your own body heat. So when you stick the patch on, it comes into contact with your body heat. Your body heat as waves bounce off the patch, gets reprogrammed into a healthy wavelength and bounces back and triggers your own cells and the DNA to express certain protein. So in this case of AION, reduce the C-reactive protein and thus reducing inflammation. And in terms of glutathione, trigger the liver to produce more glutathione, right? 300% in the very next day. So just by simply doing that, you find a sticker works so well. So how would I patch the phototherapy patches? Okay, let's look at this guy. So let's say he has cough, right? The flu comes with cough or sore throat. I'll just paste the glutathione, the yellow sticker here at the throat. I've known people to also paste about 3 or 4 around the throat, right? They want to recover fast. I do that when I have to give lecture, and just before that, I'll go for a meeting. I need to talk, I need to present, and I have a sore throat. So I quickly patch that. Usually in like minutes, within minutes, 10 minutes, you find you feel almost instantaneously better. Then you can paste one at CV6 below the belly button, or even GV4 at the back, kind of in line with the CV6, but at the back. Okay, yeah. Someone laughed at this photo. Yeah, I was also noticing from the front he got trousers, then from the back somehow his trousers disappeared. Yeah, quite cute. Anyway, but you get the picture, right? Okay, let's go to all other kinds of pain: headache, stomach pain, toothaches. What would the doctor do? Give you painkiller, right? Give you muscle relaxant so you can't feel the pain. Switch off the signaling so you can't feel the pain. Now that's fine, but don't forget, when you take it as a pill, it's systemic. Means your heart, which is supposed to continue beating, now has muscle relaxant, so you have to struggle to keep beating. Your liver that's supposed to detox, or kidney that's supposed to detox, have to keep working, but somehow it's struggling because of the muscle relaxant. So again, the drugs are good, but don't take them for too long a period. Okay, I usually take them at most 1 day or maybe 2 days at the most, right? And then after that, even if there's pain, but if the pain is less, I will find other ways to manage the pain. Generally, I nowadays I just hardly use this. So of course there are creams. Singapore, there's a nice cream. I used to use it a lot when I play sports. And of course, if stomach pain, it's nice to keep some activated charcoal in your fridge, right? Right. So this this will is firstly a powerful antioxidant like the glutathione. Then if you have gas or bloating, it helps, and it's a natural detoxifier. So every time my son eats something bad or my daughter eats something bad, we give them this. Usually very fast, 1 or 2 times within a day, they're better. Okay. I know some of you use Salon Pass, so right, it for relief of aches, pains, inflammation. How does Salon Pass work? You can see the drug facts. The active ingredients are camphor, menthol, and methyl silicate. So what it usually does in general is make it hot, so you feel it's an analgesic, which means a pain reducer. By when it's hot, then you feel less pain. Okay, it's more soothing. Right, so that's how it works, and it's a general wellness. You can buy it from any in a lot of places, right, including your supermarkets. Now, what we would do, like just now, again, pains are 90% inflammation. So you can put AION at behind the back of the neck. But now we can use another patch called Ice Wave. Now, what Ice Wave does is, let's say you have a lower back pain, then I'll paste these 2 stickers like that. So Ice Wave comes in pack. If you have a knee pain, you can paste kind of like that. Okay, so there are kind of instructions available, and most will feel pain relief within a minute. Okay, so quite fast. Now, of course, for more severe pains, like the more chronic pains, that's different. So here we're talking about the little children whose pains are because they knocked somewhere or they ate something bad and the stomach is pain, right? So they can't sleep, they can't concentrate. So you patch them usually within a minute. And children are wonderful because the patch works on signaling. So the younger they are, the signaling is much better. Less toxins in the body, more water. So the signaling is usually within like 30 seconds. So I've seen, I like patching on little kids because it's almost like magic show, instant, right? Very, so kind of fun. Okay, so how I will patch? Let's say for a headache. Now, headaches, you have to identify where's the headache, right? If let's say it's front, maybe it's anxiety, it's back, stress, right? If it's on one of the side, left or right, migraine. So depending where it is, you just cross. So let's say if it's in the front, you put a Aeon white on the right, the tan patch on the left, and you paste it in front. If you feel it at the back of your head, you just paste it like behind the ear, right, back of the head. And then if it's back to front, right, what you can do is paste it like that. So anyway, not sure, you can always check with me. My contact is somewhere around, and I'll be happy to address it, or just call, get in touch with my office, right, or the person who invited you for a talk. They will understand all this. Okay, so again, what you notice is we have the ice wave patch across the problem, and then an Aeon patch. So we are attacking this problem from two fronts. One is inflammation. The second may be the headache itself, the pain itself. Okay, so let's say if it's at the back of the head, you can do that, right? It's called gallbladder 20 as the acupoint. If it's back to front, you can do this like that, at the side. But you see the Aeon. So many of these problems, there's an inflammation response and a pain response, meaning norzistatin. Okay. So similarly, if you have shoulder back pain, then you can do this. Some children, they bend in a certain posture for too long, they feel a bit uncomfortable. So you can paste something like that. And usually it works within minutes. Okay, so knee pain, ankle pains, sometimes they run, then they kind of sprain their ankle. Just stick something like that, right? Same as the knee. Okay, so of course it works the same for older people. Okay, eczema, skin itchiness, and all these skin-related problems, rashes, over scratching, and then it gets infected at some point. My son had fractured his arm, so that he was in a cast. And what happened one day was, I think he was about Sec 1 at that time. It became very itchy, and he cannot scratch, right, because it's in a cast. And he almost went crazy. He was complaining and like, and it just, so it was very frustrating. So what I did was this. I used Aeon. I used Ice Wave, exactly what I showed you just now, and I pasted it like that on his cast. So the body heat actually passes through the cast and it passes back. And within, I think, less than 30 seconds, a minute at most, the itch just disappeared completely. So imagine from driving him crazy to it disappeared completely. Imagine this was an exam situation. He can focus on his revision, right? So you can just paste something like that. Aeon here, Ice Wave here. And don't worry if the points don't have to be exact. For eczema, of course, this is an older man, a case of an older man, but his was because of a liver damage. So we use a combination of patch, anti-inflammation, boost the immunity, and we had a hormone balancing patch as well. And what happens is just 5 days later, you find the skin clears, at least the rashes clear, including the infected regions. So pretty cool, very, very fast. Now my son also buys this. My wife buys this for him. Neosporin eczema. So it's just a normal moisturizing cream, right? But the difference is it's a little bit more thick, which is more soothing. versus other creams that are thinner, all right, more fluid. Okay, so just a little cream, non-steroidal cream, and that would be okay. Now, what would a doctor do? And this one I want to talk a little bit more, because I've seen what we call the overuse of steroid. So doctor will give you something called a corticosteroid, right? And steroid causes a lot of harmful effect if used long term. Again, long term may mean 1 week or more. So if you've been using steroids for years and years and years, sometimes what happens is the skin starts to die. Vessels, tissue, cells uh, start to dry up, start to lose their balance. And then, so I've seen people much worse than these skin conditions, where the face is basically what I call crocodile skin, thick. If you're Chinese or even American, what you see is thick, black, right, darkened because the cells are dying, no vascularization, and you can't even smile, right? So you not just look a bit odd, you kind of you don't feel comfortable, okay? Especially if you've been using for decades. So one of the common mistakes people make, I just put up this corticosteroid side effect. You can read them for yourself. One of the things is it decreases the growth spurt of children. So that's why you can always tell an asthma person, if he was badly asthmatic, they tend to be very small size, even in adult, right? So some of them don't really shoot up because of overuse of steroids. Osteoporosis, it makes your calcium phosphate balance out, right? Increases appetite, so or sometimes reduces appetite. Peptic ulcer, emotional disturbances. So steroids can cause a lot of problems if used too long. And sometimes what I see, what I've seen is people go to a doctor, right? They scared their son has this, so they go to a doctor, the doctor gives them steroids. And then it works for a short while, and then next week it doesn't work. 1 month later, it doesn't work. So she goes to another doctor. So this doctor gives her something stronger, a stronger steroid. And then again, it works for a short while and it doesn't work. So they become smart. And why don't I use the first doctor's medicine and the second doctor's medicine? And then I go to a third doctor, and then maybe even a TCM doctor. So some of these cases where, especially sometimes with the richer people, right, they can afford it. So they go to multiple doctors, specialists, all giving them special steroids, and they're using them all at the same time. What happens is all these damages can occur in very, very short time. Okay, so listen to your doctor, go to one guy, and sometimes consider the natural general wellness techniques, like just this, some of the patches, simple things like that. Okay, and you find that probably okay within a week. Okay, sleep problems, insomnia, what the doctor does, muscle relaxant, right? Drugs that switch you off. But again, remember, not all your body can switch off at the same time. For example, your brain actually needs to work. So when your children finish revision, or even yourself, you're going for a test, you finish revision, you need to sleep so that the brain can consolidate, can make sense of the information, retain it, so tomorrow when you go for exam, you understand it. And that's why something I never do. I've even studied for one exam. Can you imagine? I studied virology exam. Virology is pure memory. I revised in 20 minutes. I was virtually flipping the book, and I had this attitude of whatever sticks, sticks. But don't do this. Don't do this. I did it because usually in class, I'm very attentive, right? I really take in and I digest pretty well. So for the exam, I had no time because, I had other things to do. So I virtually 20 minutes, I studied one thick book, and whatever stuck. So I got a B. And of course, my professor was not happy, right? Oh, I got a B. who cares? I said, I didn't study. My daughter was born that day and all that, right? So I was at the hospital. That was passing the exam was the least of my concern. But what I did was I slept. So even 20 minutes, I sleep. The brain has a beautiful ability to consolidate, compartment, make sense of the data. And then tomorrow you could somehow execute it. So never study and don't sleep. That's the greatest mistake for any child, right? And many of us made that mistake. And I've even done it on myself. I tried studying, overnight because I didn't I used to have this problem of waiting to the night before to study, like history. So again, I studied the night before. I think it was Sec 2. So I didn't sleep and I executed it. I passed, but it was probably a B or something like that. Okay, does warm milk help you sleep? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Again, depending how bad your sleeping problem is. But now, of course, we are talking about children who can't sleep probably because of little things, right? Stress or, they ate too much chocolate. By the way, chocolate is caffeine. So you feed them chocolate, they snack on chocolate at night and then they can't sleep. So exam time, try to avoid chocolate, try to avoid sugar, high sugar content. And then if you need to, give them honey lemon. Then give them warm milk. Okay, milk contains small amount of tryptophan, which is releases serotonin and helps the brain relax, induces sleep, and then of course melatonin, a chemical that regulates the sleep-wake cycle. So then why warm milk? Warm milk or cold milk? Actually, both are okay, but cold because our body is warm, so warm milk is more. Our body can adjust faster to it. Cold, what happens is they view a difference, sudden coldness, so the body has to increase metabolism. So sometimes those little bits make the body come awake more. So warm milk more ideal. Okay. And then of course exercise. What I do is I don't know if I've said this before, but I started cycling. Kind of loved it, partly because I don't need to look out for vehicles, right? I can cycle as fast as I can. I can stand up, I can sit down, and I don't have to care about lorries passing me. Okay, so as I mentioned, very soon we'll open up for, of course, people in our group. You can use our spin cycle. At least you can try it out. What we've done is we have classes on videos. We also have nice videos of US, like Utah, or the Grand Canyon. So you look like you're cycling in Alaska, right? And you're just cycling. After half an hour, you really perspire. So these are good tips. Exercising, eating right, and then sleeping early. And then maybe cut down a little bit on blue screen, which is your handphone, especially at nights. Why? Because blue light actually is demonstrated to suppress melatonin. Okay? Of course, what we can do with the patches, as I explained how it works, is just stick one sticker, like for example on the forehead, like something called silent nights. So what this does is gives you deeper sleep, increases a delta wave type of sleep, and that helps the brain consolidate information and also detox the the toxins that are built up during the day. Okay, in the daytime, our brain builds up this beta amyloid, which is a toxic protein. So at night we sleep usually more than 5 hours, and then so they want to detox it. So what they've shown in brain studies, sleep tests, is actually the brain goes through this like a sponge. It squeezes out. So you squeeze the sponge and the water the beta amyloid gets actually ejected. So less beta amyloid within the brain. That's why sleep is important. Then if you want, you can add a carnosine. I can put it near the heart. And what this does is just build some heart, make him feel comforted. Okay, and repairs any damage. Okay, last one, stress and anxiety. So this applies to anybody. If exam stress, you're anxious, performance anxiety, right? You're going to play piano. Nervousness causes inflammation, which causes mistakes. Okay, I repeat, being stressed doesn't help in an exam situation. So stress can cause memory lapses, inability to concentrate or focus, poor judgment, seeing only negative. Somehow you become more negative rather than optimistic, uh, right? And then overthinking. So we blunder. So if it's an important exam, an important, I don't know, interview, you want to be clear, you want to be top of your game, what you can do is reduce anxiety, reduce stress. How to do that? Coffee, by the way, is not a stress reducer, in case people got it wrong. So, of course, there are different studies. This is an Iranian study that looked at EFL, English as a foreign language. So they were trying to study how the brain works and how sleep affected their performance. And so this study had a large number of students. They had high level of anxiety, and consequently, they found that they were poor in their listening comprehension test implementation. Okay, then they link working memory. So what they're trying to say is, if your working memory is heightened, right, you are more mental clarity. Actually, their performance in this English as foreign language listening comprehension improve. Okay, so same guys, is whether they're more stressed, less stressed. That's all. Same test, right? So in other words, if we want to and the real reason is, you see, anxiety linked to inflammation. So this is another review, advanced protein chemical structure and biology. Okay, so it's one of those team papers. You don't have to read it, but what happens is anxiety causes a lot of crosstalk within the brain that messes up. You overthink, and then after that you underperform. Okay. So again, how to manage stress? So Aeon to reduce inflammation, carnosine, right, to build brain tissue or detox brain so that you're clearer headed, or even silent night. So what you can do is paste it here, like this guy on the right. Okay, so behind the ear on the right side, you can choose either one, the silent night, Aeon. So in us, you can use silent night during the daytime. You paste it there, it may help. So some people feel better with silent night in the day to help reduce anxiety. Most people seem to feel best with Aeon, right? And occasionally you can also use carnosine. That also builds your brain neural networks. Okay, so the patches are innovative. It's non-invasive approach to health. They're all clinically proven. Our inventor just spends a whole lot of time doing research, which we are very thankful for, because clinical trials are very expensive, right? So to be able to do this and demonstrate it, at least we know that our stuff works and it works well, right? And it's not harmful. So there are different ones, of course, energy, pain. We mentioned glutathione. We touched on carnosine. We talked a lot about Aeon as a inflammation relief. And then there's this one for hormone balance, a green one, cyanide for sleep, and so on and so forth. Okay, so what I've done is I kind of put my patches. So I usually buy all of them, and I usually have more than one pack each. And I put them like almost like a first aid kit. So at home, all right, I have teenagers, so they'll come back. I sprained my ankle. I couldn't sleep. I ate something wrong. Stomach's really pain. I feel this. I feel that. I feel nausea. I feel headache. Right, menstrual cramp. So what I do is I just patch, and eventually we have a green book, which is a patching instructional book. You can check with us how to get it, and inside there are examples of how to patch for different issues, especially anecdotally. In us, it has worked on people, so it's not clinical trials, but it's worked on people. It's helped quite a lot of people, and it may help you as well. So you can just be that first responder, patch and hope for the best, pray, right? hope for the best. And usually 99% of the time within minutes, or rather 99% of the time it works or something happens, right? Pain gets reduced, he sleeps a little bit better. So that's a very, very high percentage, especially when our bodies have so many variations, right? Different nationality, different skin color, different hormone type, different uh, BMI, and yet it works most of the time. It's something worth trying. So create a first aid kit if you can, get all the patches so that you can execute them, and then the green book could help you. Okay, some final remarks. Our hospitals are like very, very packed, so don't have an attitude where any small problem bring to the hospital. When my kids were younger, they were looked after by my in-laws, and my mother-in-law had this concept of whatever problem he complains or he cries, bring to the hospital. And actually that's wrong. So as my son grew up, he kind of liked going to hospital. It's his first response. Then one day I taught him, you patch this, you see, okay. Now if you patch and it's still not okay after a couple of days, go check out, go to a doctor, find out why. But most of the time it's okay within like 30 seconds or 30 minutes, then you have just saved $100, right, on consultation fees. Same thing, my daughter went to hospitals a lot when she was young, and so one day, because we needed a medical certificate, so my wife said just bring her to the doctor. We went there, same thing, cough, cold, medicine, antibiotics, and a bill of $109. So my daughter was by then Sec 4. She looked at the bill and what? 109, because she started working. And right, she started working, and the whole month she earned like 300 something dollars as a waitress or something, a part-time waitress. And then suddenly she realized that simple 1 minute meeting the doctor was 1/3 her entire month's salary. So I told her, yes, healthcare is expensive and it's getting more and more expensive. So if you can learn, you're willing to learn, try a few self-help routines yourself. If you don't want to buy the patches, it's fine. Just Google, what can I do to manage flu safely at home? There are lots of stuff there, right? So at least so that we don't go and clog up our hospitals, especially now being clogged up by all the COVID patients, right? So hospitals, by the way, are the last place you should want to visit. Even the doctor, even his mask, all have COVID all over. So don't go there, right? And worse still, don't go shopping, don't go McDonald's, don't go to the hospital to eat. Hospitals should not be designed with shopping centers and aircon and all that, right? So those are my final remarks. If you can learn to help yourself, learn to help your loved ones, and then you actually help relieve our medical system, which is actually over flooded, overstressed. So just a few wise words to end off the hour. A wise man ought to realize that health is his most valuable possession, right? So that's Hippocrates. To the kids, if you're taking exam, don't stress. Do your best. Forget the rest. That's what I tell my kids, right? And okay, so this we have a competition on Facebook now. So if you go to this Facebook, I've actually not been, but Daniel choosing.lim.1. I think Cindy is going to put that in the chat. Okay, so you can write a remark on the following. So what we want is give some advice on why it's important to keep healthy. Okay, let me check. Cindy. Okay, so Cindy will be putting the thing online soon in our chat, the link. Okay, so give some advice on why it's important to keep healthy. Okay, so why is it important to keep healthy? We're not looking for composition, but maybe health is wealth. right? Like a lot of people say, health is the most important thing. I only got one life, so keep healthy. So whatever, just put some remark on why it's important to keep healthy, right? So what you have to do is three things. Go to the above Facebook page, like our page. Okay, I put two. Okay, like our page 2 times. I'm just kidding. Like our page and then share the answer, and we'll look for the best 3 answers, and we'll give you a glutathione sleeve. Okay, so 30 patches in that glutathione sleeve worth, and that's to boost your immunity or general immunity, including against COVID, and worth US $90, which is I think about 130 Sing dollars. Okay, so 3 to give away. You're looking for best answers. They don't have to be long, and remember to like our Facebook. Okay, so with that, I've come to the end of my talk. We're open for a time of questions and answer. If you need more information, you want to try the patch, just contact the person who invited you for this talk, or you can even contact me. My office number is here. It's a Singapore office number with a 65, right? And then, or you can WhatsApp. Best to WhatsApp because we usually don't pick up phone calls. So WhatsApp, then we got you. Or even if you're in Singapore, visit us at our office, right? We are the official fulfillment center for some of these products that I mentioned about. Okay, or you can even email us, and you can feel free to share some of your more serious problems. Pretty good at dealing with this. Okay, so you can take a photo of this contact list. I'll stop sharing so we can see each other a bit clearer, and let's open this time with Q&A. Okay, you can type your Q&A, or you can just unmute yourself and ask the question.
Okay, maybe just to interrupt for the Facebook competition, just like Dr. Daniel said, you need to go into Facebook, right, with your own account, find us with the link, and then like us. Okay, and of course, we greatly appreciate if you could share our page with your friends, your contacts, and then input your answers to the question on our comments. Okay, then we'll look through and we'll choose the 3 best answers. Thank you very much.
Okay, someone asked, what can I patch for swollen eyes? Okay, the way I approach is usually this. What do I think is the cause of the swollen eyes? Is it I didn't sleep for much for the last few days, and my eye, like I got the panda eyes, or it's swollen because there's an infection, I rub it too much? So maybe you want to share a little bit, Lily?
Hi, good morning, Dr. Daniel.
Hi,
morning.
Lily.
Hi, yeah, I suppose so. I agree with this statement, as you said. I think this client, he is working in the sign analyst, and he is very highly stressed with his lately work because of many of the workers are having contracting with this COVID. So there's shortage of manpower. So I think that he has already been putting a lot of pressure on himself in work, and a longer hour in work as well. So it could be due to his stress level and lack of sleep too. What you say is pretty true.
Okay, and, so what to patch, right?
Yes.
Because we don't know. We don't know. It's very easy to guess. Most of the issues pertain to inflammation.
Correct.
Okay, pertain to immunity. So you just patch the 2 patches here, glutathione, aeon maybe.
Glutathione inclusive, that's why I was thinking of glutathione, aeon and glutathione, and carnosine. How about carnosines?
Yeah, just add carnosine, to calming. Sometimes the only negative side effect is it's called a healing crisis, where he may leak even more, right, like a tap. But these are good things, because rather than the thing stuck inside, right, it's like you're coughing out the green phlegm, right? Once you cough out, wow, you're back to normal. Stop coughing. So it may leak a bit. So if he tells you, hey, I'm worse, say no, just tahan for a while. He leak a bit, then after that is good for the rest of the month.
So which means we patch in a triangle form, because this is under 3YG.
That's right. I will put it near the eye, so it can be
Yes.
here, can be here, can be
And
here.
Aeon is here.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Some people, if they want to patch during a day and they're embarrassed, then they try to put it a bit further behind the ears, cover
Alright.
the hair, that kind of thing.
Okay, sure, will do.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, thank you,
Great.
Dr. Daniel. Thank you.
Okay, I'll answer one who gave me a direct message. She asked for sinus. Sinus, usually what we do is ice wave across the nose. Okay, so maybe an Aeon at the back to reduce inflammation, and then ice wave across the nose. That seems to work pretty well for most people, and usually within like 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Okay, at least they feel a bit better. Okay. Then given more time, what I usually would do again, boost immunity. A lot of people underestimate this immunity. If you just think of this logic, if your immune is strong, right, and COVID, this horrifying virus attacks you and actually gets into one of your cells and tries to take over the mechanism of the cell, your strong immunity will just kill it immediately, right? There's something called apoptosis. So your brain will signal, this guy is not normal, die, and he will die. That's why, and what is the best example of this in real life? The foreign worker dog. Early on, remember in COVID, the foreign workers all got COVID because they were all, so in close proximity with each other. And yet, the worst comment was, I felt a bit feverish, but next day was okay. So it was kind of almost nonchalant, like no big deal, right? Right? So although they passed on to each other, everyone got it, but you see, no one died. No one even got scarred. So basically, it's not as bad. But why? Because they were young, they were strong. Right? We don't choose foreign work. I mean, you don't choose construction workers that are weak. Right? So you go to India, they choose all the strong fellas. So when the immune system is strong, you find that a lot of these problems get resolved. Okay. I wanted to, in fact, share. I made this comment and then I thought about it and I thought actually it's pretty meaningful. So I'm going to share it at this talk. Just came to my mind. When your immune is down and you have a disease fosters more disease. Poor health problem will foster more poor health problem. So you get worse and worse and worse and worse. Right? Not just pain in the knee, but fat, then, this one pain and headache. That's why there are some people that have many, many issues. And how to get back, or at least get back somewhat to some form of normal life, boost immunity, improve digestive system, including exercise a bit more, eat a bit more, eat less, a bit less. I mean, it's okay to eat a bit, char kway teow once in a while, a bit toxic, a bit deep fried food. It's okay. Don't eat too much of it. And then remember, detox once in a while, you find you're okay, you're fine. Okay, boost your immunity. So sometimes if I'm not around, or this is a first responder, just boost immunity or deal with the pain first, deal with the inflammation first. So easiest is always inflammation and pain. So Aeon and ice wave. Glutathione can come within 1 or 2 days. That's fine. Okay. For young people, no problem. You can just patch them the very first day. What to patch for COVID? What we've been suggesting is just an XA9 behind, and then a glutathione patch below the belly button, what we call CV6, and then a glutathione patch behind, what we call GV4. Okay, acupoint GV4. So you just patch that, and you patch every day for a week. That should boost up your immunity sufficiently. In fact, pretty more than anything else. Okay, no pill, the patches work wonderfully, meaning no pill can even come close. Why? Because pills are taken orally, they go through the digestive system into the small intestine, and then they get absorbed into the bloodstream, then they go and, the different parts of the body. To do that, the assumption is everything works well. When you patch, it is direct signaling, instant, speed of light. Okay, so And the patches are cheap. I mean, okay, not super cheap, but like worth like $100 something. If you buy them in a pair, so it's not that bad. Okay. The other thing about COVID and with many other diseases, we have to find some way to manage our anxiety and stress. And I'm talking mental stress. I know there are many reasons to be stressed. Money, being, worried about getting COVID. But the reality is, if you can find ways to manage it, find ways to, I'm a Christian, so some people go for spiritual things. Some people go learn a hobby. Many people actually buy pets. So I don't know whether the pet economy has increased. So they buy pets, make them feel calmer, right? But don't be like one of my friends, buy rabbit and then go and torture the rabbit, right? Buy pet, then you look after it, then you just calm yourself down. So find ways to take things less seriously, right? Sometimes I watch comedy. Now, by the way, now they are showing Seinfeld on Netflix. Yeah, I used to like it. Yeah, it's quite funny. Yeah, thanks for your kind comments. Okay, how can a kid use the patch? We have patch newborns. Okay, what we did was we kept the patch away. Anybody 2 years old and above, and I think even 1 year old, you can patch. The only difference is your patch don't need to stay on the guy for 12 hours. It will work almost instant. Like if let's say it works 12 hours for an adult, it probably work like 10 minutes for the young baby or the young toddler. Okay, so Rosalind, what I'll do is you can patch on the kid, but you don't have to patch for 12 hours. Okay. And don't forget that sometimes when the kid is not taking exam, like this 2-year-old kid, right? If he falls sick, let him be sick because he needs to build his immunity. Okay, so nothing against Dettol, but those people who like keep washing their hand with Dettol because it's free, that's not a good thing. Okay, because why? Your body needs normal flora. So when we kill this, we think we are killing COVID. Actually, we are killing everything else. And I can bet you our normal flora and many times the colony forming unit, CFU, more than COVID. COVID very little. Okay. So remember, don't go and bathe yourself in antiseptic and all that. It's you will fall sick. Okay, and not the other way around. My son has a tendency to sneeze for no reason and then cannot stop. Again, Aeon and Ice Wave. Yeah, my son does that too. He's kind of allergic. So gradually, I started with Aeon and Ice Wave. Eventually, started putting on like hormone balance. And why he's 16 now, just turned 16, and he's shooting up. So every time they shoot, they fall sick because all the immune system go into the extension. Yeah. Okay, so he keeps saying me, I don't want to grow too tall. Yeah, I agree. Right, the future favors a small. Ask Cindy, the car becomes smaller, right? Then we started liking to watch what Tiny House Nation, everything smaller. I watch doesn't mean I want a tiny house, but it's nice to watch. Anyway, the direction is small, right? Because things are getting more expensive. Okay, so try that first. Eventually, what you want to convince him to do, you see, that means there are two things. One is we are dealing with the child because he has an exam or something important coming up soon, right? Like if he's sneezing, then he cannot do oral. Very hard to do oral. My son, one day he sneezed and then they called me. They had to send him back because he sneezed too much. Actually, he had to go swab, all that. In the end, nothing. But you see, it causes a lot of concern. So usually what we do is just patch first. When you have more time, like holiday time, get him to do a detox. We have something called a 15-day detox. It's not just a detox, not just removal of toxin. What it does is it rebalances your metabolism. So it's like resetting your metabolism. Then after that, he go and eat fried food, he go and, stress himself, then it goes out of whack again, or he don't sleep, or he, too much handphone time in games. So what happens is every now and then you reset that metabolism. Then you find generally they improve. The allergies will start to go away. By the way, medically, we don't have much for allergies, except antihistamines and all that, right? So you will take them forever and there's no cure. Okay, so you reset, let the body deal with itself, right? So very easy to remember, when he was a baby, he didn't sneeze that much, right? Somehow he was okay. Then as he grew up, he was exposed to this and that, or your house too clean, sometimes the allergens start to come in, okay? So don't worry, we are, you and me, going through the same thing. Okay, like one shared, Aeon, patch Aeon for 3 days. She had the maid had a knee pain, and now the pain is gone, but she has some rashes on the body, which she usually use steroid cream. Long-term use of steroid cream causes rashes. You don't believe, you just look, you go in Google, you look for photos of people. We have seen really horrible skin. And we have seen this horrible skin, thick, black, no vascularization, cannot even smile a bit, cannot talk. And one was a TCM doctor, one of the top TCM doctors. We met her 1 year later for a Christmas dinner, back to almost near normal. So you can see slightly dark, but now you can tell she's Chinese, and she was smiling, she was laughing. She's not been like that for a long, long time. Just patching. Okay. And she won't even admit it's from the patches, but it was because I dealt with her. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so your usual Aeon ice wave, and then yeah, that works. Okay. Ankle feet pain. I show you a diagram. Ankle feet pain. Right. So just use ice wave and Aeon. Sometimes not sure. Just put the 3YH. But I usually, if they are first time user, I usually won't do this. Okay. So based on our experiences, there are time to put it and there are time not to put it. Okay, so sometimes so what you can do is patch first. If something goes wrong, come just sound me out and I'll usually deal with it. Usually within 1-2 days you find they are okay again. Okay, quite fast. Okay, so remember, you can anyhow patch. What's the worst that can happen? The patch don't work so well. Or even if there's a negative, what seems like a negative side effect, it's a healing crisis, right? It's just that then go look for someone who knows how to explain healing crisis. Okay. Thanks, don't know your full name, Evangeline, is it? Yeah, so same as my son, now taking O levels. Yeah. This is interesting. Thanks for sharing that, Lily. Why I fall sick each time I close my deals? Wow, must be very stressful. Okay, yeah. What to patch for black?
Dr. Daniel, really stressful. Lately, I just closed a 4 rental deal and I fall sick again and again and again. Oh my
You are
God.
insurance, right, Lily?
No, I'm a housing agent, Dr.
Housing
Daniel.
agent, yeah.
Yes.
It's quite stressful, and
it is stressful, yeah, because I think a handover, getting a
That's
new
right.
tenants to replace in the urgency of this very stressful.
Yeah.
And with the COVID lockdown, it's also restrained the numbers of customer coming into view.
Yeah.
So
now
maybe
you
I
recognize
need a lot of vitamin C as well. Yeah.
That's right.
And I patch 330. I patch X39 to boost my immune system.
Yeah.
And
Because
yeah.
Okay, Lily, I fully agree. Boost vitamin C, drink more water. What I do was I have this thing where I can automatically take personal time. Like when I'm stuck at a traffic light, even if I'm rushing, actually I'm very calm. I look at the grass, I look at the ants crawling.
Yes, I agree. That's why I've been bringing my dogs to the seaside last few days to look at the sea, to listen to the wave and to receive sunlight as well.
Then at least your dog more calm. Then you become more, then pass you the calmness. Okay, Daphne Teng asks, what to patch for black eyes? What causes black eyes? I mean, my eyes are black because genetically I was born Chinese with black eyes. But what do you mean by black eyes? You mean the what, like panda, is it?
Yeah, I think what she meant was probably the dark circles, I think.
Okay,
is that
the
right?
dark circles, or even eye bags, the underlying cause is usually toxin related. Okay, of course we say you didn't sleep, you do this, but eventually it's toxin related. The other possible causes sometimes is people use creams like what do you call that, the whitening cream. You want to become fairer, and they forget that your face is never even. The oil content, is not even one. So when they use a cream like that, you find some places dark, some place light. Okay, so that's why the best is try not to. If you are dark skin, don't worry too much about being darker. It's fine, right? It's just you lah. Yeah, because sometimes when we try to change it, make ourselves fairer artificially, things go wrong. And I've seen cases that it went pretty badly wrong. And there's no recourse. All the spots, all that cannot go back to normal. Okay, so pigments on the face. Any suggestions from people who do a lot of face thing? A la vida lah. I don't know. Any suggestions, Cindy or Lai Kwan? I know there are people that paste carnosine, glutathiones. Glutathione is used in Thailand for face, but they usually use pills that, by the way, don't really work well.
I think so far for experience for myself, like I try carnosine, right? Or even aloe vera. I think generally your complexion looks nicer, more what you call radiant the next morning. But for pigmentation, I haven't really seen much yet lah. I think that one,
yeah, I don't think it does. Okay, if it does anything, it will take very long. But what you can try definitely is both balance the hormones. Use the SP6. I think, and usually this is a patch that you put on the left side of the body. I think that will be that will help, like at least lessen the number of pigments as we grow older. Yeah, I think I still have what seems like the same number of pigments. But that's because I play golf in the sun. I used to, now I got no time for golf. Any patches for tinnitus? Tinnitus, yeah. Okay, this one is a bit more complex. We don't cover it today, but tinnitus, usually we need the energy patches to come in. So we are energizing different parts. Okay. Not enough sleep causes black eyes. Yeah, possible. Yeah, and like when you're right, a lot of, if you are post-menopausal, because of the hormonal change, a lot of things become very funny. And suddenly you sweat a lot for no reason, you become very hot for no reason, and it's all hormone balance. So what you can do is SP6. That's why some people, when you take too much antibiotics, let's say for pimples, and I'm talking to teenagers, if you go to doctor will give you antibiotics to get rid of the bacteria that causes pimples. What will usually happen is at some point it becomes worse. Okay, starting very nice. Then after that, it becomes worse. So if you do that, just do that 3 days. Then after that, change your protocol. Why? Because if you don't, what usually happens is the kid will grow up with a lot of hormonal imbalances because you just killed off his normal flora in the stomach. Okay, which your stomach is a second brain. It links to all your hormone system. So now everything out of whack. You find the child is irritable for no reason, or or cannot sleep. Yeah. So just bear that in mind. Ear infection. Okay, ear infection, any infection, glutathione will be best, right, Melanie? You're right, Aeon, glutathione, ice wave, those will be the patches to use. Where to place? Around the ears, right? So it doesn't have to be on an acupoint. Yes, it's okay to put YH patches on the left side. Okay, so remember, all these right and left patches or center patches, they are what we call logic. If you don't know, if you are using for general health, these are the placements. But if you have a problem that you want to solve, it's different. You can triangulate them on the problem area. So let's say if it's the right ear, just place all three here, right? Doesn't matter in what order. Okay, something like that. All right. Any last questions from anyone? Okay, we spent an hour and a half. Anyway, thank you for joining us. Thank you for the people in the US who have joined us. You got up really early, and I wish you, sorry, it's night for you, right, in US. So anyway, I wish everyone a pleasant weekend ahead and a fantastic week next week. Okay, so enjoy yourselves, and I'll see you again. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.